Hi again, and welcome to part 12 of my Solution Focus series. Today's going to be a bit controversial, not that I haven't been before, but today's going to be particularly so. Um, I said in my last video that I would be doing more stuff around solution focus practice and tips and tools and so on. However, a couple of events have happened this week that meant that I've decided to change this one today. Um, Not least some of the stuff that's happening in America and Trump and immigration and the outright bigotry that's being portrayed in the media um, and so on. Which brings me back to kind of the original premise of the book that we were writing, some colleagues and I, Heresy, Misconduct in the Solution Focused World. We started that book with a preface, which, as I say, the book hasn't come to light, but the preface was, why now? Why this book? And we recognise that in the world of um, um, uh, populist politics, Trump, Brexit, all the other things that are happening in the world. Um, you know, Political systems create social systems and social environments are what we work in, what our the people we see come to us in, and we can't fail to ignore that. We have to accept that's a world we work in, and that's where the premise of the book was, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about why that's important to this particular session that I'm doing. Um, but firstly, before I go into that, I'm really pleased to see the Solution Focus Collective, which is coming out of UK, but it clearly has attachments all around the world, and Guy Shannon's been very high up in doing that. Has produced this Solution Focus Manifesto. I just want to say I fully support that. The Solution Focus Collective, a Solution Focus Manifesto, an acceptance of the politic of the world is absolutely spot on. But I think we need to do more than just talk, and I think that the Solution Focus Manifesto suggests that, and I think that's fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there. So this is a set of rambling thoughts, but it's important when we practice solution focus. We practice in a way that we accept the client's preferred future, best hopes, desired outcome, miracle, things that they want to see different, and so on. Those things don't sit in isolation. They sit in the world. They sit in the world that we live in. So for somebody that's from a minority community but wants to be in higher academia, there is undoubtedly challenges to that. Okay. I'm not saying those challenges can't be overcome, but there are challenges. For many people in their desired outcome, their preferred future, there are challenges that are in their way that are not of their making. If we collude with those challenges, if we um, accept those challenges as right, then we um, we can't be with the client's agenda. Let me explain. If somebody comes to you and um, they want to have their lifestyle accepted. They want to be accepted for being gay and being in a gay marriage. And the country that you're working in doesn't tolerate, allow gay marriage, or as a political system that doesn't accept a lifestyle of diversity. You can't say you can't do that. You can't be the person that agrees with that. You can't be a practitioner that says that's right, and you can't do that. So, if somebody is, I don't know, in a setting that's a mandated setting, be it in prison or be it in a mental health inpatient unit, and you say, I can't ask a best hopes question because they're in a situation they can't change, you're colluding with that. You can still ask best hopes given this situation, best hopes in this current place, best hopes for you in the future where you may not be in this place. Um, so you can't tailor being solution focused to collude with an oppressive or an unjust system. And I'm not going to go too much more into that, but what I'm going to go into, because that's a practice issue, and I'll talk about practice issues in videos to come. But I want to make this stance really clear. We as practitioners work in a therapy room or work in a coaching environment, or we work in a situation where we're looking at people's best hopes, and we accept that. Outside of that room, we are human beings in the same political system, and we have to make a decision all the time as to what we see as just and unjust. We have to make a decision all the time on what we call out, what we don't call out, what we agree with, what we don't agree with. And we cannot, I believe, we cannot be people that believe in something that's oppressive or something that's unjust and still practice in a solution focused way, because we're not paying real belief to it. We're not really believing in what we do. So there was an example a few years ago where somebody that's quite well known in the solution focused world, I mentioned this before, put on a social media site that they were opposed to gay marriage. How can you be opposed to gay marriage and accept that somebody walks into your room and maybe want to be accepted for being equal in society? How can you make public statements about immigration or uh, right wing ideology and then be a solution focused practitioner? I don't believe it's compatible. I actually don't believe it's possible. And I believe that actually we have a responsibility. And I can't control people's thoughts, but we have a responsibility not to make overt statements that are oppressive, not to make overt statements that collude with oppression or colonialism or right wingism or any of those things. It's not a case of left or right, it's a case of social justice. People come to us often because the world is an unjust place, and their attempts or abilities or capabilities to cope in an unjust world. And I'm not saying that we address the politic in therapy, that's our agenda. What I'm saying is it's very difficult for me to understand why and how people can call themselves solution focused and still hold views that are not solution focused. I think it's difficult for associations that don't accept um, black speakers or people that don't promote themselves as a diverse organization. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you go to a website that's by a solution focused practitioner or by a solution focused conference or a solution focused association or a solution focused company, there should be something on there that tells you what they believe in, that tells you what they uh, what's about them. And that can be as simple as who are the faces on that website. It can be as simple as a diversity statement. It can be something that says we want things in the world to be different. I don't believe. I mean, I believe solution focus is a radical approach. We're saying to somebody, "What are your best hopes? What's your agenda?" I'm not the expert here. I'm not telling you what you need to do. I'm asking you what you want to be different. That's radical enough to say it's political, as far as I'm concerned. And we can't be apolitical animals outside of a therapy room. I don't believe that. Um, as I said, this is a controversial video. People may not agree, but my back's up this week. I found the stuff going on in America just appalling, and I've seen posts by people who purport to be solution focused that kind of say things like, you know, well, Trump wouldn't be there if people didn't vote for him, and he must have something right, and all the rest of it. Um, Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know. You may not like this video. It may turn you off other videos of mine. I actually don't care. I feel that I have a moral compass, and I have a moral responsibility to call out things when I see them. And that doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I'm an angel. It doesn't mean I don't get things wrong, because I do. Um, but it means that I believe, as a solution focused practitioner, I'm working in an unjust world. I'm working in a world that doesn't value difference in the way that it should. I'm working in a world that oppresses people, and I need to accept that and make the therapy space, or the solution focused space, one that is free from that and accepts people's best hopes and preferred future based on what they can do in this world. And outside of that therapy room, outside of that solution focused room, I have a duty to kind of do more if I can, when I can. Thanks for listening. Don't expect everybody to agree. Feel free to leave comments. And next session, I promise I'll get back to talking about something that's practice based. And I've had quite a lot of responses on the last video about planning for exit on entry, and getting a real focus at the beginning of the session. I may talk a little bit more about that, but I'm much more likely to talk about, and what I have got planned to talk about, is how the next questions based on the preferred future or best hopes can be very, very client focused and can lead to the focus that we desire to work with in a solution focused way. Thanks for listening. Bye now.